Hello and welcome to Lovely English Stories. Thank you for stopping by. This story is written for upper intermediate English learners. Ready? Let's get started. B2 English Story. Being different. Victoria could not wait until the end of the school term. She was sick to the back teeth of mulling over essays. She constantly heard people say that school was the best time of your life, but she disagreed. All she seemed to do was work, get picked on, and wait for each day to end. Victoria was a bright girl. She was good at pretty much everything. She excelled at maths, was a talented creative writer, and could play several musical instruments. The only thing she wasn't competent at was making friends. Victoria often found herself sitting alone at the dinner table, with the other children incessantly mocking her as she ate her food. She never understood why they did it. If they only took the time to get to know her, they would realize that she was just like them. Instead, she was a solitary figure, wandering the school hallways alone, listening to her favorite podcasts and bands. Victoria adored music, watching films, and reading fan fiction. Unfortunately, all the other teenagers saw was someone who kept themselves to themselves and didn't interact. Victoria never had this problem at primary school. Back then, she had an abundance of friends. Almost every weekend she would get invited to a birthday bash. Her parents couldn't keep up with her social life. The problems began when she started secondary school. Her family moved due to her mother's job as a healthcare manager. Victoria didn't mind at the time. She thought starting a new school would be an adventure. She was never one to shy away from new things. She always looked at the positives in life. The reality was somewhat different. From the very first day, Victoria felt like she didn't fit in. People mocked her for her taste in music, for her outlandish clothes, but they mostly teased her about her accent. The family had moved from the north of England to the south coast, and whenever Victoria opened her mouth, she stood out like a sore thumb. Victoria retreated within herself. Each school day was just something to get through. She joined lots of school clubs to attempt making new friends, but it seemed once one particular group of nasty people decided they didn't like you, then everyone else followed suit. Victoria was often called horrendous names. The other students constantly heckled at her to go back to the north where she belonged. It was hurtful. At first, she used to quietly hide away and cry in the toilets, but now she had grown armor. She felt strong and knew their words couldn't harm her. On several occasions, she attempted to explain to her parents what was happening, and they spoke to the teachers at her school. But as most of the name-calling happened outside of the classroom, it was hard for them to keep track of what was happening. Victoria knew that the source of a lot of the bullying was jealousy. She was kind, considerate, and intelligent. She knew the answers to most questions, and she was an excellent sports player, not to mention having outstanding guitar playing skills. She appeared odd to a lot of the other girls. She dyed her hair blue and adored alternative music. Her ambition was to be the singer in a rock band, or, failing that, she wanted to start her own business and learn how to code. Victoria refused to change her taste in music or clothes to suit other people. She was who she was. People would just have to learn to accept it. In a bid to have some sort of social life, she decided to join a local amateur dramatics group, and this is when her life began to change. She attended the group every Monday evening. It was a small group of about 20 people. They were all from the same town, and they all loved to perform and sing and play instruments. Within her first month of joining, she was cast as the main character in a forthcoming show. She couldn't believe it. How the tables had turned. She felt like she had finally found her kindred spirits. Her Monday nights were a safe haven away from the constant tormenting at school. Victoria felt like she was finally seen and heard, and wasn't just the weirdo in the corner. If only the kids at school could see how popular and appreciated she was at her drama group. It's their loss, she would often tell herself. As Victoria's confidence began to grow, she flourished into a young woman. She cared less about what the others thought of her at school. She suddenly started to have a social life again. Her friends from the drama group would invite her over for tea or to the cinema, or occasionally they went swimming or ice skating. She relished their time together. She had missed the feeling of having a close-knit group of friends. No matter how bad her days may have been at school, she always knew she had the escapism of her drama group friends to save her. It was the outlet she very much needed. A lot of her friends from the amateur dramatics group could relate to her situation. They were also bullied for being a little different to the rest, but they used it as their superpower. Who wants to be like everyone else anyway? Victoria began to embrace her individuality. She enjoyed it. As she became increasingly confident, she talked back to her bullies. As a result, they became wary of her, and slowly, over her time at school, they retreated. They knew they couldn't hurt her, so now she was boring to them. As Victoria was about to complete her final year at school, she assessed her options. She decided not to stay at the school to pursue her A-levels, and instead chose to go to a sixth form college closer to her drama group friends. She couldn't wait to be surrounded by like-minded people. She had chosen to take a course in theatre studies and acting, and would study business and music alongside it. She also aimed to get a part-time job, so she didn't have to rely on spending money from her parents. She hoped that her days at college would turn out to be as wonderful as her hours spent at the drama club. Let's face it, they couldn't get much worse than her experiences at school. Victoria realized that the problem wasn't that she was different or that she didn't fit in. It was that she was not surrounded by people like her. By joining the drama group, she had found others with her interests who had the same sense of humor. She realized she wasn't a weirdo at all. She was merely looking for friendships, in the wrong places. As Victoria revised for her final exams and completed her last essays, she looked forward to the next step in her education, where she would no longer be the weirdo with the blue hair. Have you ever felt different from those around you? Tell us in the comments below. We hope you enjoyed this lovely English story. Thank you for stopping by. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. See you soon.